must warn you, you are in great danger.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to a Hideous Diversion podcast. I am your host, Mike Hideous, and today is the 20th of May, 8 o'clock, 2025. That's my cat's tail. And let's throw it over to my co-host and producer and engineer and partner in crime, Mr. B. Hello, Mr. B.
Hello, Mike. How are you today?
I'm super swell, Nito, nifty.
So I've got to inform you that unfortunately we have a Dodgers fan that watches our show. I was informed of that just the other night. He made a comment. Me being a Giants fan, he wasn't rude, and because he subscribed to us, we're now at 83 subscribers.
That's wonderful.
I'm going to just say this: you're welcome here, as long as you don't talk smack about the Giants. Your team is good. Otani is good. I'll admit it, but I love the Giants. So
Otani, isn't that the guy who that Asian woman freaked out about
yeah,
when they went
yeah,
to see
yeah.
the
That's the guy.
Otani?
And the guy's a super player. I remember to recall the guy saying he's the GOAT, so the greatest of all time, and he probably will go down as the greatest of all time at some
Do you
point.
know, I've always wondered what that term meant, the GOAT.
Learn something new every day, buddy.
Now I know. Now I know.
So I just want to
So,
say, man, I appreciate you, and I appreciate the comment, and thank you for subscribing and watching us.
absolutely.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. Even though I have no desire for any baseball or sports, I welcome you, even if my co-host doesn't.
50% of the show does, so it's all good. Only certain sports, though.
Anywho, my cat just loves getting in the way. Come on, kitty. Get out of here. All right, so here's the deal, folks. I'm going to start by telling you this. So for the last couple days, I've been figuring, all right, what are we going to do for the show? And I said, all right, well, let's keep it short and simple. Mr. B and I will have some back and forth, a little banter, and we'll talk about, current affairs. And then, well, let me start foremost. Here's what, all right, hold on. Yes, I know. You got to move, baby. Stay there. Get the hell out of my way. All right, so a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, about 2 months ago, we did a show in which we played a bunch of clips. It was an episode called The Decline of Western Civilization, in which we played a lot of clips of woke idiots making fools of themselves, okay? So tonight, as far back as last week when I was figuring out what to do for the show, I said, I'm going to be fair, or I'm going to try to be fair, and try to find video clips of Republicans, not politicians, but Republican citizens, people on the right, making fools out of themselves like a lot of the left does, like the voters that follow their leftist leaders. Here's the funny thing, folks. So I type in Republicans and Republican citizens and voters making fools out of themselves or being idiots. You're not going to believe this. Maybe 8 to 12, I can't remember exactly, about 8 to 12 videos came up. Most of them, if not all of them, were of politicians making stupid comments. Again, on the right. And that was it. The rest was all leftists making like fools out of themselves. So I'm just trying to let you know, I tried. I really did try to find someone on the right that would have been talking smack and just making idiots out of themselves, but I couldn't find any. So that brings me back to the current situation. So, number one, um, we all know the news, the most recent news, and that is the former bumbling idiot known as President Corpse has apparently contracted stage 4 prostate cancer. Now,
Mike, you
Yeah.
know a little bit about cancer, don't you? So you're going
That's
to
why
really
we're
educate us, right?
that's
Okay.
why I'm getting into this, Mr. B, and I'm glad you asked me that because I don't talk a lot about it, but I'm going to be honest here. I had prostate cancer. I've had it once in 2010, and I had it again in 2016. The first time I got radiation therapy, which was a major big deal because I had already had radiation therapy for another type of cancer years ago. So it was a very big concern doing radiation therapy within the same location. It's a serious, serious situation. Then, years later, I ended up having the problem again, and I had to get surgery for it. I'm not going to go into details about it, but I will tell you this. When I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, when I was 20, 21 and 23, I can tell you this. I would gladly have cut off my left arm and gone through all the cancer treatments that I went through, the chemotherapy, the radiation, the surgeries. I would have gladly gone through it all and cut my left fucking arm off just to not have prostate cancer. All right? So that's saying a lot. Now let me get down to the nitty gritty. Prostate cancer, you don't just get prostate cancer stage 4 overnight. Okay? So,
I kind of figured that.
of course, right? I mean, I don't think there's any type of cancer that you get that jumps to stage 4 in an instant. I mean, am I wrong?
Uh, Not to my knowledge. I know people that have contracted the different types of cancer, and it was like at stage 2 or 3 because it basically they never did anything about it. They never went to the doctor. They weren't proactive. You know what I mean? That's usually the people, that just don't want to go to the doctor.
That's right. That's right. So, having said that, while I was fiddling around this morning having my coffee, I was watching one of my favorite podcasters by the name of what the hell's his name again? Nuxanor. Nuxanor. And there's a clip that he played. What are you laughing at?
It's Nuxanor, I think.
Nuxanor.
Nuxanor. We'll just put it at that. That's how you spell it.
Nux. I'm just going to call him Nux from now on.
I prefer
N-U-X.
that. Yeah.
Much easier, right? A stupid name. Nevertheless, I love this guy. He's smart. He's witty. His jokes crack like a whip. and he was talking about the whole Biden cancer thing. And what I'd like to do, we were going to play a good portion of this, and we're going to play it at we're going to play the speed a little faster, 1.5 speed, so that we can get through it quicker than it would normally play. So, Mr. B, when we start this up, which what did I say, 340? 340.
Yep.
When we play this, I'll call you out for pause at times if you wanna stop it too. By all means, you stop it and we'll talk about it. But let's watch starting from 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And keep in mind, he's talking about how the media is making it out that the White House, the former administration, lied to the press, to the mainstream media. And if you got a brain in your skull and your hair's not blue and you have a septum piercing, then you will know that we all knew this well before the media did. In fact, I would go as far as saying we knew it even when the media did know it, and they lied to us about it, as well as the administration. They all lied. And they're being caught about it. Again, I'm going to back up and say it again. You don't get prostate cancer stage 4 overnight. So the possibility of him having had it as far back as years ago and not saying anything about it is astounding. And here's the other thing that gets me, Mr. B. He's the fucking president. How many doctors do you think were with this guy?
I know that they usually get at least a checkup once a year to see if they're fit to do the job. So, but
Mr. B, I hear what you're saying. That son of a bitch was 80. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s, and I go to the doctor every 3 months. So, though I understand what you're saying, I sincerely disagree, only because I think this is the fucking president. On top of the fact that he's 80 years old, he should have been having a doctor check him out every goddamn day, in my humblest opinion. So, do you agree?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you agree with me. All right. All right. So let's play that. And as I said, if you want to stop it, by all means. But keep your finger by that pause button, because we will be talking about a few comments that are being made. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm locked, cocked, and ready to rock.
Locked, cocked, and ready to rock.
And I think they will. They will find out real soon. I don't know who is holding the auto pen. I don't know who is signing the fucking pardons. I don't know who is running the goddamn government. But I do know they were parading around a deteriorated old man with cancer and brain issues for years. So today, we are actually doing a pretty incredible, crazy deep dive. A crazy deep dive. Today, we're looking at the retards that lied. How everyone is trying to launder their fucking opinions. All these people are gigantic pieces of shit. All these CNN people are exposed as losers, and liars, and frauds. We are doing a deep dive into the retards that fucking made believe he was of sound mind. In 2022, there was a pretty crazy Biden gaffe that happened. Why don't we take a little look at what Biden said in 2022?
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on the windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
What? That's why I and so many other people have cancer, he said in 2022.
Oh.
And Mark can't for the longest time. Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Awkward! They lied! They knew and lied. In 2022, Biden said he had cancer. We were told it was a gaffe. How long did they know? Who covered it up? They lied to our faces for years. They need to be held accountable. I agree! I completely agree! He literally said this. I remember when he said this in 2022, and then the media ran to say, no! It was just a Biden slip. It was a Bidenism, guys. It was just a little Bidenism. And they did this to fucking parade around his barely living corpse. Anyway, back to the tolerant left. Check out the tolerant left.
That doesn't sound good.
Policing 9, John, means that it's in a very aggressive
All right, Denims in chat throw a crab rave over Biden's cancer diagnosis.
form of cancer. And group 5 means that within that, it's the most aggressive type. That means it has the highest risk of spread, which
This is disgusting, bro.
He's presenting with urinary symptoms, and I want the viewer to to know that
Look, I don't like Biden. I don't. But throwing a crab rave?
if they decide to do more than one therapy, they might try to take the prostate out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, yeah, the tolerant left, ladies and gentlemen, they need to be considered a tumor, in my opinion. So, anyway, people are losing their absolute shit. Breaking! Right-wing Twitter is now circulating a conspiracy theory suggesting that Biden's team may have covered up his cancer diagnosis during his presidency. People are losing their shit over this. A right-wing Twitter might be, theory, the biggest theory of all time. Yeah, what a theory, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Crazy conspiracy theory. So, Tim Pool said Joe Biden had cancer with metastases to the bone. This is considered advanced. If he had the best medical care and screenings for 4 years, they'd have found it, which means he likely had it since before dropping out. The Democrats knew. I think this is true. I think this is completely true. I think this is completely honest and true. In fact, if you look at what CNN is doing, this is fucking crazy. Look at this shit. Right? This is discussing the 2024 elections.
Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on even after 2024?
You're asking me this question. Oh my gosh, he's the president of the United States. You know, I can't even keep up with him.
The most difficult part about a meeting with President Biden is preparing for it, because he is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
These guys are all scammers and liars.
Can testify.
They're all swindlers and liars and scammers and cheats.
Because I've been working very closely with this president for the past 2 years. I've been knowing him for 30 years. And I'm telling you, this guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game.
Joe Biden has vision. He has knowledge. He has a strategic thinker.
The president is focused. He's detail-oriented.
Oh, yeah.
He's always thinking about the big picture.
He is engaging. He is capable. He has an incredible record as president.
And I'm often with him on foreign trips. He's at the top of his game.
So he has a vision. He has vision. He has judgment.
He's not even on the top of her
I
game.
met with the president, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago. He seemed fine to me.
I have complete confidence in the president.
Look at that.
I have watched him expertly guide meetings
Sharp
with
as a
staff
tack.
and cabinet members. I could not have more confidence in him.
I would just tell you that I meet frequently with the president, and every single time I meet with him, he is just fine.
He's
But he
just
is,
fine.
again, knowledgeable, wise.
Incredibly sharp, incredibly probing, incredible command, details.
He is sharp.
Moderate-sized penis.
He is on top of things.
There is nothing to
Putin respects him, which is why no war started.
these challenges, these suggestions that somehow he's not sharp and he's not capable.
We see Joe
Can't believe
Biden
people
up
would say
close.
that.
We know how attuned he is to the issue.
And you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has.
I say his
Period.
age is an asset.
Ooh.
He's wise.
Yes,
He's so wise. He's lived through all of history.
He's wise. He has wisdom. He has experience.
He sniffs children. He's goddamn good at it, too.
And his experience, because of his age and his wisdom, has been invaluable to this country.
A lot of countries, people who've been in office a longer period of time are praised for their wisdom.
Hold it.
I have
Stop.
seen a lot of
What the fuck did that guy have on his head?
Well,
Did you
let's
see
back
that?
that up a little bit. Yeah, I know.
What the hell was that? What's he got, a do-rag on his head? Does he have cancer?
Is he a doctor? I mean, like they wear those hats when they do surgery and crap. Dude.
I don't know, man. That looks like a do-rag to me.
You know, the other thing that bothers me is anytime I see, and they showed him a few minutes ago, but Anderson Cooper's face, I don't know why the hell they always pan in so damn close. He looks like a freak, dude.
He is a freak, dude. But this guy, he's got like a babushka on his head. What is going on with this man?
I don't watch these channels, so I don't know.
Maybe he's from the hood.
Maybe he's just trying to find his black side. Like maybe he's trying to reach out to the brothers a little bit.
Yo.
Maybe he's got Jerry curls underneath there, and
yeah,
he's
maybe
straightening it somehow. I don't know.
That do-rag is pushing him down, getting him that curl, Oh my God.
Maybe he's got cornrows. It's hard to say.
Yikes. All right. Keep going.
For their wisdom.
I have seen a lot of 72-year-olds not as capable as this 80-year-old.
not at
It is
all.
hard for us to keep up with this president.
He's so
His mental
fast.
acuity is great.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. He's fine. All this right-wing propaganda.
That's propaganda, guys. Turns out the right-wing propaganda. Oops. All of that was true.
Mind is wrong.
And this kind of sense that he's not ready for this job is just a bucket of BS. It's
Awkward.
simply your boots will get stuck in.
Yeah, so, in my opinion, they are either liars or they're retarded. Either way, fuck them. I think they pulled the wool over the eyes of the American people. For years. This is Scott Jennings. He is on CNN, and he just posted this. CNN, all right? This is fucking fake news media ground zero, all right? And this dude had this to say.
If I had a nickel for every time I had heard an anchor or a fellow commentator use the phrase, the big lie, after the 2020 election, I'd be a rich man. But I wonder what they have to say for themselves now.
Uh-oh.
About the lies that we were told about Joe Biden.
Oh.
Oh, behind closed doors, he's fine.
Right.
He's riding unicycles and juggling knives and doing trigonometry blindfolded.
Oh.
What would they say about the enormous conspiracy that was required to cover up this impairment?
He's right.
What would they say about the
right.
coordinated smear campaign
He's right.
against anyone who dared question it?
He's right. He's right.
And what would they say about the clear fact that unelected people were making decisions in a constitutional republic in the name of a president who had no idea what was going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's just correct. Uh-oh. Awkward.
Shame.
He's right.
Shame on every one of these people
Oh, my
who
God.
inflicted the real big lie on America and the constitutional crisis upon the people of the United States.
Fuck. And this guy is from CNN calling them out on their bullshit. The Great Awakening is here, guys. All right, it's happening. It's happening in front of our very eyes. It's happening literally in front of our very eyes. We are winning. It is so good to be back. It is so good to be fucking back. These people have no shame. And now they're trying their absolute best to rewrite history. So I wanted to talk about this individual, Jake Tapper. He is on either CNN or NBC, one of those fucking news broadcaster places. This guy is writing a book. He's writing a book on how secretly it turns out they were running the government with a guy that wasn't actually a capable president. What? No. What? No. We're all surprised at the same time. All of us are collectively shocked and surprised. I think all of us had collective surprise and surprise orgies. Welcome to Clown World. So I am very excited personally to do this deep dive. This guy, Don't Walk Run, apparently is absolutely going to be blasting the news reporters for lying. And now they're trying absolutely, with every bit of their credibility, they're trying so hard to make believe they were fooled. They are trying to make believe they were fooled by the evil Biden White House. All right, listen to this reframing of history. They were fooled by the evil Biden White House into thinking that Biden was a capable president, and not that he was a guy whose brain was melting out of his ears, being a corpse paraded around by crypt keepers and necromancers. The government was run by unelected shadow puppets that were literally fucking making shit up. The people having no idea why they're making the decisions they're making, probably for personal gain. And they're trying to make believe that they're actually still the good guys in the fucking woke media sphere. They lost all credibility. They just don't realize that their career is done yet. They don't realize that they will never, ever, ever be forgiven at all, for what they did during the Biden presidency. That Biden presidency, I think, was it was so bad. It was literally so bad that the nation was almost cooed. They opened the borders. They flooded in illegal people. They got rid of voter ID laws so these illegal people could vote. They almost fucking established an eternal fucking shadow government. So, guys, lock in, boys and girl, because we are doing a deep dive into the endless credibility destruction of the fucking media, and I could not be happier.
This is Jake Tapper, the host of The Lead on Fake News CNN.
CNN!
Tapper has been promoting a new book that he co-authored with Alex Thompson titled Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again.
Okay, hang on.
He is writing a book.
Okay, so now this guy's going to go into Jack Tapper.
Jake Tapper.
Thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
This guy is a lying scumbag, like all of them on CNN, with the exception of who's that other guy that they just played with the purple tie? He's on CNN, but
I just want to know who cuts the checks at the Democrat Party, because they're paying everybody. They're paying the media. They're paying everybody. And I just want a little piece, man. You know?
That's why I laugh when people like AOC and Bernie Sanders say that the country's being run like by oligarchs.
When they're flying around on a jet at $15,000 an hour.
And the fact that Kamala Harris, this woman right here, that slut. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. I meant to say very intelligent woman. She had, for every one billionaire that Trump had supporting him, she had two. And if I remember correctly, didn't she go through, what was it, $1 billion in 2 months?
Yep. And then
taxpayer money.
Just like Newsom is $12 billion over budget, she was actually $20 million over as well. $20 million over $1 billion. When
Right.
Trump spent $465 million, something like that.
Mind you, all taxpayer dollars. She spent it in I believe it was 2 months. So, what I was going to say is that Jake Tapper is now writing a book claiming that the administration prior to this one, the last one, lied like we didn't know that. And he is going to stand up and say, we were lied to, the media was lied to. He's so full of shit. And here's the beautiful part about it all, is that the Democrat Party, they're like sharks or crocodiles, and they just fucking eat their own. As soon as they see, like for example, they see a shark, if a shark's in the water and it starts swimming a little weird, all the other sharks attack it and eat it. That's exactly what these Democrats are doing. They all stood up for this walking corpse. All right, like Nux said here, they pulled out the necromancers to keep this guy alive. What a great fucking line that is. And now this son of a bitch, this lying hypocrite asshole expects everybody to, well, you know what? The Democrats just may believe him. But the smart people, whether you're left or right, who saw the decline in this man 5 years ago, 4 years ago, in 2019, we all saw it. So how is it we saw it and the mainstream media, particularly CNN and MSNBC, how did they not see it, Mr. B?
Because they were getting paid off to not see it.
Exactly. And I think I think Nux either said it or is going to say it. These people are paid actors. They are not true journalists. Because if they were, they would have been doing their fucking job instead of criticizing the one man everybody on the left loves to hate.
I tell you, Democrats, you cut me a check for like $20 million. Man, I'll be all over this podcast talking shit to Myke. You know what I mean? Supporting you guys.
Yeah. Not that we'll vote for your president, but yeah, we'll talk shit.
I got your back, Democrats. Just cut me that check for $20 million.
Me too. It's just like I told you last time too. The people that were going to these protests were getting paid. They were bussing them in and getting paid, if I remember correctly, something like $400 a day.
Oh, I guarantee you, during COVID, when they had all those riots, they were paying them too.
Of course
They're
they
paying
were.
those people.
Of course they were. Sons of bitches. All right, let's play Jack Taper.
On how the White House fooled CNN and the fake news media. No one is falling for this. They all knew. Everyone knew. I knew. I saw clips of Biden, okay? Dude. I am Jewish, and therefore I have a lot of doctors in the family. They all told me that Biden had dementia. All of them. Every single one. God damn it. Like, let's not make believe this is happening. He had cancer the entire time, all right? If he has stage 5 prostate cancer, he probably had it for 5 to 10 years already. They knew all of this. They decided to silence themselves and push a fake narrative onto the world that I think was the biggest constitutional crisis in American history.
Well, only disastrous for the...
Honestly, maybe the biggest political scandal in all of history. This might be on the biggest scale, the biggest political scandal in all of history. No one knows who ran the United States of America for 4 years.
Democrats.
The Biden White House tried to hide the extent of his deterioration, both...
And now they're blaming the White House. They all pushed the hoax. Every single one of them pushed this same hoax. And now that it's all out in the open, I can't believe the White House fooled us.
Physical and cognitive as much as possible to try to conceal from the American people the extent to which the president was really struggling to do his job.
Biden's decline was happening in real time in front of our eyes.
Why do we need the media? What is the point of the media? The media reports and peddles fake news allegedly because the White House told them to. Zero journalistic integrity at all.
Journalism.
Actual disgusting. And we have to stop believing it. We have to stop listening to it. You don't hate the media enough.
But Jake Tapper and much of the media are now claiming that they missed the story because the White House did such a great job at covering it up.
Don't worry, guys. They spent those whole 4 years calling out Fox News and influencers for making fun of Biden, saying that they were peddling a hoax that Biden wasn't fit to be president. And now, turns out they were right.
Which is not remotely credible.
Alex Thompson and I were on the case, as were lots of other reporters, trying to figure out what was going on behind the scenes.
Right.
But the bottom line is the White House was lying, not only to the press...
Oh my God! The White House lied to the press! It wasn't their fault. It wasn't them. It was the White House. Again, even if he's telling the truth and the White House was lying to everyone and everyone like was tricked by the White House, even if that's true, it's still an unbelievable catastrophe. But the fact that they all absolutely knew and pushed the fucking scam anyway, that's just so much worse. It means you're all fucking paid. You're all paid actors. None of you guys have a single actual thought. You're just there to push the propaganda, there to push the message. None of your news has any value. It's propaganda. Every single bit of it. I can never take you seriously ever again after something like this. Not that I took you seriously to begin with, but it turns out, Trump was actually right about like everything. It's crazy. Definitely subscribe to the Nux News Network, that's for sure. Here on Jew News. Definitely subscribe. Because here we make fun of the retards instead of being the retards. We're only the retards sometimes. But most of the time we're making fun of the retards. Hell yeah. They found the prostate cancer region of Joe's bones. It takes years. They were lying. I know. It metastasized his bones at stage 5 prostate cancer. A lot of people are not aware of this, but that takes 5 to 10 years. It takes 5 to 10 years for prostate cancer to metastasize to the bones. You know, honestly, it's very likely that he had prostate cancer before he ran for president in 2020, and he didn't tell the fucking world.
Public, but they were lying to members of their own cabinet.
Do you remember Joe not wanting to run? He turned him down quite a few times.
Did he?
Yeah. Like they were wanting him to run, and it went on for about 2 months.
I didn't realize that. I honestly didn't realize that.
He was delaying it, and I think it was because people were freaked out about Bernie, right?
Right.
Because it was starting to get serious, and
rightfully so.
Yeah, but man, look at the disaster this guy did. You know, the other thing is, I like the dress that his wife's wearing. because we did vote. We voted for Trump.
Yep. And if I may,
Yeah.
I think he ends up, I can't remember if it's this guy or somebody else who I was watching. A theory has been put out there about them thinking that if Biden had ran and if he had won the election, which thank God none of that happened, that the whole idea was to get him to run, win, and then the possibility of him dying in office, Harris would have been moved to the first black Indian woman.
See, dude, this is why I believe in God. Okay. I'm just saying, dude. We dodged a bomb.
Dodged a major
Not a bullet, bomb. A bomb.
Nuclear. And like he just said, the what they did to by lying to the American people is probably the biggest scam ever.
I love how they tried to push this Russian collusion BS all during Trump's candidacy, you know, when he was the president, okay? They tried to push that crap. And then they cover up all this crap with Biden, right? And now it's getting out, right? And the one thing about this guy, I want to feel sorry for him, but he's such a scumbag and he did such a horrible job. If he even was president, I don't know, that I can't feel sorry for him because his wife and his family and the Democrat Party dragged this guy through the mud when he had cancer and all this other crap going on. And that's just no way to treat a human being. It really isn't. And it was people, I bet you it's like people like Jill that just want to be in the luxury of the White House and all that crap. And it's sad and pathetic. It really is.
These people are really
disgusting.
Nefarious. They're nefarious in every aspect of the word. For you know everything the definition of that word stands for. These people are conniving, wicked people. They don't give a goddamn shit about anything that they say. That whole Green New Deal bullshit. How they were gonna
another scam is what it is.
Right. In addition to the Ukrainian war, how when Israel was attacked, and we were literally giving money to the people of Gaza to fight against Israel and giving money to Israel and weapons. So, like, I don't get it. Like, could you imagine if we did that in World War II? If we were giving Germany money to support them, while I mean, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like they were playing both sides, and I'm sorry, that's not how you win a war. There's going to be casualties, hopefully on the losing side of the enemy, But anyway, I'm getting off course. Oh my God, this is, as you said, this is one of the biggest, most nefarious scams to ever take place in American history. And we have lived through it, Mr. B.
Dude, since 2020, it's been nothing but crazy crap I couldn't even dream up.
Yep.
Literally. I mean, pretty much every week something earth-shattering happens. I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
What's next, dude?
I think a lot, like, when I think about some of the stupid things that have taken place, let me try to explain this as best I can in a nutshell. I've noticed a lot of things have become, what's the word? Like, you can't get quality in people's work. Not everybody, but a lot of people. People, like, for example, I haven't been able to find a decent pair of socks since 2020. Some of the food that I used to buy isn't made properly anymore, the way it used to be made. Because in 2020, when we had the China virus, everybody stayed home because they were told to. Small businesses went out of business. Nurses, doctors, first responders, military, all lost their jobs because they wouldn't take the jab. And then, of course, the DEI was pushed and pushed and pushed on us. So I think we lost a lot of quality in the way things were being made. And here's the opportunity, now that Donald Trump is president. And man, let me tell you, he's doing more. He did more in 150 days than, I believe this sincerely, than the last 5 presidents before him did in all their terms. So what I'm getting at is, when the China virus took hold and the government pushed down our throat that we couldn't work, go out, you couldn't go to church, you couldn't visit your grandparents in their old people's homes, you couldn't go for Thanksgiving or Christmas. You gotta wear a mask everywhere. I still see people wear masks today.
Oh, don't get me started, dude.
And specifically with the protesters, they wear masks, not because they're afraid it could catch some, because they realize it's an opportunity that they can hide their identity.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we are in a world of fuck as a result of the China virus. And for anybody out there that has an issue with me using the term China virus, go fuck yourself, because it came from China, okay? And don't tell me that, oh, you're insulting China people. Really? Well, what about the Spanish flu? Are we insulting all the Spanish people when we say Spanish flu? Just grow up. Get a spine, okay? Anyway, I could go on and on and on. The fact of the matter is, these people on the left are lying, hypocritical scumbags. And they are as guilty, if not more so, than of everything that they accuse the right of being guilty at. And on that note, unless you wanted to respond to that.
Nope.
All right, let's go back to our wonderful video.
They were lying to White House staffers. They were lying to Democratic members of Congress.
However, several clips emerged that showed over a period of several years that Jake Tapper wasn't really on the case.
Oh, that is quite the nice thing to say. Love that.
As an example, here's a clip with Tapper and author Franklin Foer.
Yeah, bro, the defense is going to be crazy. It's like, listen, in my defense, I didn't have cancer. I didn't have cancer before running in 2020. I just got super cancer from the COVID vaccine. And then everyone is going to lose their shit. That was a joke. Don't kill me. Don't assassinate me. I'm not suicidal, I promise.
He has talked about a mental acuity test for presidential candidates, and everything I've seen about Joe Biden, he would pass that test.
Right. Mr. Asafo America. That guy, right?
He's sharp physically. I mean,
sharp as a tack. Physically a beast. He would beat Logan Paul in boxing.
Yeah, I think the question is physically, right?
Right.
So Franklin,
he had cancer while you were saying this. I hope you feel stupid.
Foer, who wrote a pretty
Mr. Foot, what? Oh, you don't know the Foot clip? It's my favorite Biden clip, literally of all time. America in one word. This is the greatest Biden clip in the history of time.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
That's what I'm talking about. The greatest clip of all time. The greatest clip ever. Yep. This guy. This was the president of the United States for 4 years. Sharp as a tack. So wise. So sharp.
Flattering book about Biden's first 2 years in office is like, Joe Biden would easily pass a mental acuity test. Jake Tapper was in total agreement, despite reoccurring moments like the following.
And we're still feeling the profound loss of the pandemic, as I mentioned, of over 100 people dead. That's 100 empty chairs around the kitchen table.
100 empty chairs around the kitchen table.
How big does Joe Biden think a kitchen table is?
Listen, he had a big kitchen table, okay? Listen, he was mentally sharp. He was mentally acute, okay?
Anyway, in early June 2022, the Wall Street Journal put out an article.
Again, I want to make this clear. While I am making fun of Biden here, the majority of my making fun here is making fun of the retards that propped him up, paraded him around, and covered, and masked, and hid this giant scandal.
Titled Behind Closed Doors.
See Trump, I could see him. Huge table, beautiful table, 100 people. I could see that. But Biden's table, please, bro.
Biden shows signs of slipping. Jake Tapper didn't seem to trust the reporting.
But he didn't trust the Wall Street Journal? Bro, even some of the left articles were like, something sussy.
The White House today slamming Republicans for what the White House calls false claims to the Wall Street Journal about President Biden.
Oh, well, Republicans were right. You're a retard.
Mental fitness and acuity. The White House communications director posting that the story in the Wall Street Street Journal was a complete and utter editorial failure by the Wall Street Journal. Makes you wonder who they're taking orders from.
Makes you wonder who they're taking orders from. Bro, the fucking shadow government is trying to make believe that who the Jews? The Jews? Is it the Jews? Is it the Jews that are controlling the Wall Street Journal? Is that what you're saying? The Jews tricked the journal into telling the truth? Is that the argument you're making here?
Quotes. Maybe that's an insinuation because the Wall Street Journal is owned by News Corp, which is run by the Murdochs.
Oh, it's owned by them. Who's owned by them? Who's owned by the Murdochs? Who's owned Fox News? It's a gigantic conspiracy. I cannot believe that MAGA is all Trump and the Jews, they got together to make up a lie about how Biden might be retarded. Awkward.
Oh, let's be extra skeptical, because the same owner who owns the Wall Street Journal also owns Fox News. They're practically one and the same.
True. They're just straight lies.
There is some critical nuance here. The article is mostly based on observations of Republicans with former
the Republicans. You can't trust Republicans. You can't trust them. They're just always right. You have to trust us. You have to trust us. Trust us.
Speaker Kevin McCarthy, the only one going on the record.
Yet, Jake Tapper wrote a book that is the result of more than 100 interviews consisting of mostly anonymous Democrats.
Oh my God. He's saying, anonymous Republican said this. Anyway, I'm writing a book with anonymous Democrats. Dude, these people are such grifters, it's crazy.
I'm sure you can totally trust everything that he wrote, though.
Yeah, true.
Here to discuss is Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, a longtime friend and ally of President Biden. Senator Coons, thanks so much for joining us.
So instead of bringing in one of the reporters who wrote the Wall Street Journal piece in question, he brings in Joe Biden's biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, that's journalism. This is Hassan Piker interviewing Houthi terrorists and saying that they're just like One Piece. They're just like Luffy.
Freaking clown world.
Surely you acknowledge that any 81-year-old...
Guys, everyone's saying we need a DEI president, and that's why we need a Kamala. Well, you already had a DEI president. You had a retard in office for 4 years.
Seems a little slower than he did at, say, 61 or 71.
Look, he's doing a journalism when he's interviewing Joe Biden's biggest fan.
That's just the aging process.
But it was more than that.
Yeah, it wasn't just the aging process. It was also cancer.
A lot more. In January 2024, he mixed up two of his Hispanic cabinet secretaries, Alejandro Mayorkas and Javier Becerra.
Dude, can you imagine if Trump just mixed up all the Hispanic people working for him? Can you imagine the media shitstorm that would happen?
Two Hispanics that look nothing alike, by the way.
Awkward. Yeah, but...
He actually pronounced Becerra's last name as Baccaria. And if you're a Californian, you know how to pronounce this stuff. And Baccaria, that was just hilarious. I'll never forget that.
But that's crazy. But even more crazy, everyone's
nothing alike, by the way.
Awkward. Yeah, but that's crazy. But even more crazy, everyone's complaining and freaking out about Trump running another term, a third term. Obama had 3 terms. Biden was Obama's 3rd term. I don't know, bro.
Nice pause. I wanted to bring up with this last comment that he just said. There is a point in time when King Obama, had said that he always wanted to run the government without actually having to be in the White House and be the president. He said that. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but ultimately that's what he said. So he had 2 terms, as you know, and then you had this brain-dead moron running the country, or at least we think, maybe possibly running the country. And a lot of people are saying that Obama was behind a lot of what was being done. Do you believe that?
You know, it's funny. Right at the beginning of this video, I wrote down this question. Who was running this country?
Who do you think? Who do you think?
I honestly, man, I think the Democrat Party has one figurehead or one group of figureheads that run it, and I think they were running the country. Was it necessarily just Obama? I would think not. I would think that probably billionaires that are associated with the Democrat Party, donors, etc. I think they were all running the countries. It was probably a group of people. That's what I personally think.
Well, look, I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, look at them now. They're like a chicken without a head. They have nobody. They've fallen apart. They're crumbling. As I've mentioned in previous episodes, 20% approval. Lowest in the history of the Democrat Party. They don't even know what they're doing.
And they're propping up Newsom right now.
Yeah, he ain't
like
getting away.
Crazy.
That's not going to happen. He's a moron. Everybody knows all the shit that he did to California. We all know it. We've all seen it. Even the smart California people like yourself know for a fact this guy is incapable of winning because he's only popular in California. That and to the cackling chickens on The View.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, only like him because he's a good-looking guy. And that's really sad when you have to think about the guy you're going to vote for. You're voting for him because he's a good-looking guy, not for the policy. And here's the other thing too. This son of a bitch, he's flip-flopping. Remember how he stood up for the trans people and how to get him into in positions with DEI and so on and so forth. He's now flipping on all of that. So how do you trust a shithead like him?
The way that guy works, okay, is he just wants headlines to make it look like he is. But in all actuality, when you look at what's written down and what's actually happening, it's a complete fallacy. Okay?
Exactly.
He is not cracking down on homeless people.
Of course
Basically, he wrote that the only thing that he passed was that they have to move 200 feet every 3 days. Okay. And in order for that to happen, they have to follow these stringent policies with hazmat, all kinds of crap. No city is going to do it, period. But it looks good to the media to put it out.
That's it.
And that's all it is. He's just about like optics. It's all bullshit.
Of course, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
He's another actor, you know, a good talker who, when he talks, he uses his hands a lot because that's what he does in order to make his point.
It's really ridiculous, man. There's videos I could find of him practically dancing when he's responding to these reporters and it's the craziest thing. Or he sits there and goes like this. Like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Well, like this?
Oh, it's because you're saying a word salad and you want people focusing on your hands and not what you're saying because you're saying nothing.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
All
right.
He's such an idiot. I don't think he would even come close to winning the presidency.
But, I mean, what do you got? AOC?
Oh, she's going to run too, but she's a moron.
Yeah.
And she's completely uneducated. She thinks she knows everything, but she's another. See, that's the thing. I said this last time. The left, the real Democrats, their party left them, and now it's been taken over by a bunch of woke progressives. Activists.
That's all they are. Activists.
That's right. And they're not going to win. People have they've seen through the bullshit. It took Joe Biden stealing the election. That's right. Stealing the fucking election. And
as soon as those polls shut down in Philadelphia during that election, I called bullshit. As soon there was that water leak, and they shut down the polls, I was like, okay, I'm done watching this. It's
right.
So
what I'm saying is that for 4 years, they literally ran this country into the ground.
Yeah.
Nearly 20 million illegal aliens let loose into this country, a literal invasion. And people began to see the reality of it all, the lies, the hypocrisy, and everything came out. And those are people on the right as well as smart people on the left. They all began to see it. And what I'm getting at is, sadly, it took those 4 years of devastation to this country for Donald Trump to come in like a knight on a white horse, because we finally realized, and you know what, mock me for all you want, anybody who's watching this, he predicted every fucking thing, or I should say he was right about every fucking thing he predicted. He was right. Am I wrong?
Not to mention they shot him. They had him in court left and right. They invaded his house.
Yep.
I mean, they dragged his family through the mud.
It's terrible. And then they have the nerve to call this man Hitler.
Yeah, that's really starting to piss me off. I mean, you got to come up with. Come on.
Like I've told you, Mr. B, when I was a Democrat, PC liberal Democrat, I used to say stupid things like that too, especially when Giuliani was the mayor of New York before 9/11 happened. You know, when the left would tell me, oh, he's ruining New York City. So I remember I had a sticker on my van that said Giuliani is a Nazi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
and when I look back at it, it's because I was so dedicated to my party that I would basically listen to whatever they said and do whatever they said, not realizing the truth behind all the matters.
He's kind of a shady character, though. I mean, he's kind of shady, dude.
in what way? Because you're not the only person who says that. Why do you think?
Well, first off, you know, during Trump's first run in office, okay, he did some shady crap at the end, trying to cover things up, and just lawyer stuff. I can't quite remember, but I also remember when he was mayor, he kind of worked with the police to do some dirty stuff to people, like kind of broke the rules a little bit. I think they
After
called it
9/11?
fleecing.
After 9/11?
I think it was, yes.
Yeah, that was
kind of
when
cleaned
we
up
had
the streets. It was called fleecing or something like that, and it was kind of covered up. But the guy, the guy, he just seems, he's like one of those guys that you go to where you got a problem and he kind of takes care of it for you. He just kind of has that mantra about him, and that's, I don't know anything specific. I don't.
Well, here's why I debate this.
Uh-huh.
And you're not the only person. Deacon always says this about him too. This is a man who took down the mafia in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And then when 9/11 happened, he was praised as being America's mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So you having said what you just said, and when I have to, when Deacon says it to me all the time, I'm just trying to understand where these accusations are coming from. Like, what is it that he did? Because I don't know. I really don't know.
No, and that's a fair question. And I tell you what, I'll do some research and I'll follow up with facts.
You don't have to. I mean, I'm just saying. I if you see something, send me the link. I'd be interested in reading about it. Anyway, that aside, let's get back to this video so we can finish it up.
Sure.
We're almost done with it.
He recounted speaking to German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, who died in 2017, at the 2021 G7 meeting. That same month, at a different fundraiser, he said that during the 2021 G7 summit, he had spoken to former French President Francois Mitterrand, who died in 1996.
I did not remember that. Oh my God!
Yes, Biden claimed that he spoke to world leaders who have been dead for
25 years.
But
Biden's like, yeah, I just talked to that guy. That guy was dead for 25 years. Joseph Biden. He was mentally sharp. You never find someone sharper than Joseph Biden.
It's just the aging process. Nothing to see here, folks.
Yep.
So the premise of Original Sin is that the White House covered up Joe Biden's decline so well that it wasn't in view until after his disastrous debate.
The journalists, they were just completely blindsided.
Performance against Trump. However, that doesn't explain how the media completely missed the story of Joe Biden's mental fitness during the 2020 campaign cycle.
Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. It's a joke.
He showed up. The first words of his speech was he said the wrong play.
You know where we were anyway. Honey knows I believe this every fiber of my being. We're posed. What I propose is it can be done.
You want him? This is painful, bro. And remember, you have to realize he probably already had cancer at this point, and they were still fucking parading this guy around. They were walking around. The necromancers were getting this guy to work every morning.
Nominated Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat, an Biden-Obama Democrat.
He's an Biden-Obama Democrat.
Biden-Obama.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. I mean, you think about it.
That was crazy. That was great. This is elder abuse. They paraded around this man as a figurehead, and they ran the government behind the scenes. This is a man with dementia and cancer. He was falling apart.
So in October 2020, Jake Tapper interviewed Laura Trump and attacked her for pointing out the obvious.
No way, dude. No way this dude is writing a book about how he needs to get on his hands and knees and apologize to the nation that he misled for 4 years. Unbelievable.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. You made this
a stutter, bro?
Oh, listen to this.
About Joe Biden. Let's take a listen to that.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel?
You gotta be fucking kidding me. She was talking about because he's mentally dilapidated, not because he has some sort of lisp.
When they see you make a comment like that.
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
You know,
True! True. And then trying to, dude, and he was doing the stupid bullshit 2020 cancel culture thing. Little kids are gonna be offended by your stutter. You know, if she was really based, she would have said, yeah. Well, I think kids are gonna feel a lot worse and then just start saying racial slurs. If she was really based, she would have done that. But anyway, no one's perfect.
The rapidly rising I don't know.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have no. It's so amazing. It's so amazing to me
and try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
When you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter.
I think you were mocking his stutter. You should apologize to the children that got offended when the children were watching your fucking news channel. First of all, that didn't happen. Second of all, dude is literally floundering trying to shut her up.
Think or Jake. Also, in describing Joe Biden's condition, Laura Trump never even used the word stutter.
Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody
diagnosing. You are doing that right now, Jake. You're writing a book on it now. You are in no standing to diagnose someone. Anyway, I'm writing a book.
And the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses. Diagnose politicians from afar.
And yet, Jake Tapper just wrote a book where he diagnoses Joe Biden's cognitive decline from afar.
Yeah, crazy how that happened. Wow, what a twist. Turns out he's a complete retard hypocrite. Unbelievable. Look at these people. Biden was in the Senate, and he was the vice president for 50 years. He never stuttered. Biden doesn't have a stutter. He doesn't have a stutter. He had dementia, okay? Right. I had a grandfather that had dementia. It was awful. He sounded like that, okay? Like, oh, dude, seriously. These people were peddling a hoax, and they were literally lying to the entire country for years while a shadow government controlled the country. And they enabled it by peddling a hoax. This is insane.
Anonymous sources. Rules for thee, not for Jake Tapper. So in response to the many clips of Jake Tapper pushing back against evidence of President Biden's cognitive decline, a video montage, supposedly pushing back against that narrative, was posted by the X account of the Original Sin book, along with the following statement. We won't spend the next month fact-checking partisan liars on the left or right, but here's a simple demonstration of how false this viral video is from Tom Elliott. Listen to the real quotes, not the deceptive clips. So yeah, let's do that. Let's watch every clip that they provided featuring Jake Tapper and put it into its proper context.
Oh fuck, this is crazy. He's gonna murder him.
First, a clip of Tapper in 2020 asking then presidential candidate Joe Biden if he will be honest about his health with the American public.
Will you pledge that if you're elected, you will be transparent about your health, all facets of your health?
Dude, he probably had cancer while he said yes. Holy shit. I did not remember this at all. He said yes instantly and he probably had cancer at the time. Oh my god. All right, let's ask the doctor. All right, doctor. How long does it take for prostate cancer to, I don't know, just metastasize? Metastasize. All right, thank God for spell check. Metastasize and get to the bone and
I use it too.
To stage 5. All right, Dr. Grok. All right, Grokter. Let's go. All right, stage 5. Metastases. Press the bone. All right, let's go. There's no stage 5. All right, whatever. All right, key variables, data points, why it's hard to pinpoint. Very helpful, Dr. Grok. Very helpful. It has a 30 to 50% chance of developing metastases within 10 years. Wow, look at that. So I think that he's on stage 4. It said stage 5, unless I'm just retarded. Just possible.
With
Hold up. Let's pull that up. Wait. Not trying to be CNN here and post misinformation. Grade group 5, not stage 5. Grade group 5, stage 4. All right, yeah, group 5, stage 4. Got it. Yeah, got it. Yeah, but anyway, he probably had cancer. He probably had cancer when he said, "I promise to be honest." How crazy is that?
Urgency, so that we know.
Yes. I need to point out that this clip has nothing to do with Joe Biden's mental decline during his 4 years in office or the cover-up or whatever.
You will be transparent about your health, all facets of your health, with urgency, so that we know.
Yes, when it occurs, when anything occurs, anything can happen. And so I guarantee you, I will be totally transparent in terms of my health and all aspects of my health.
Wow, dude, it's so bad. It is so bad. Why does he sound mad when he's saying it? I think he's just straight up lying to him. I think he knew at that point he already had cancer. He's on fucking cancer treatments making him loopy. His mind is going, and he's sitting there. That is wild.
Of course, as we all know, that transparency did not occur. And you'd think that since he asked Biden that question directly, that over the next 4 years, Jake Tapper might be a little bit more vigilant. But he wasn't. I know you're shocked. The next clip occurred 2 years later, where Jake Tapper was able to interview Joe Biden again.
One poll shows that almost 2/3 of Democratic voters want a new nominee in 2024, and the top reason they gave was your age.
Now, let's watch the same clip, but in context.
You're about to turn 80 next month. Happy birthday ahead of time. Whenever anyone raises concerns about your age, you're the oldest president in the history of the United States, you always say, watch me. Voters have been watching you. Democratic voters approve of the job you're doing.
All right, then they're retards. No, I've never heard a worse condemnation for the fucking Democratic voters. Congratulations, Democratic voters. You might be retarded.
Democratic voters overwhelmingly like you, but one poll shows that almost 2/3 of Democratic voters want a new nominee in 2024, and the top reason they gave was your age.
Happy birthday, Mr. President! This is known as a softball question, a lob, if you will. Tapper mentions a single poll as an excuse to ask Biden to explain to Americans why they shouldn't be worried about his age, when instead, Jake Tapper could have and should have asked about the following incident.
And I want to thank all of you here, for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie?
Oh, fuck, I remember this. Jackie was dead, right? Dude, I remember this clip. Oh my god, where's Jackie? And Jackie died like weeks ago. Oh no.
She was going to be here.
All right, hang on.
Help make this a reality.
Okay, so you remember when this happened? Do you remember this? Okay. So he mentions this woman who died. I think she died in a car crash. I can't remember. Anyway, she died. So now he's gonna show another clip of the press in the White House speaking to the White House. What would you call her? The press secretary. And she, the black chick with the good looking black chick with the curly hair, Jean Pierre, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. They're going to show it. They're going to show it in a second. So I want you to pay attention to how many times she repeats herself. So go ahead and play it. Watch this.
Okay, so Jackie would be former Representative Jackie Wolarski, and I say former because unfortunately she died in a car crash back in August of 2022,
Oh, God,
a month
dude.
and a half before the conference.
And she died a month and a half ago. They probably went to the funeral. Jill and I are shocked and saddened, and he just forgot a month later. What the actual fuck, man? That's crazy, bro. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's insanity, dude. Yeah, we see no evidence of a mental decline. I can't believe the White House would lie to CNN like that.
You'd think that Joe Biden would know this, as he put out a statement regarding her death saying, Jill and I are shocked and saddened by the death of Congresswoman Jackie Wolarski of Indiana. So if her death was so shocking and saddening to Joe Biden, you'd think that maybe he'd remember that the Congresswoman was no longer with us. And to their credit, the White House press corps did ask for details, only to get their following response from the White House.
No way.
So, of course, she was on his mind. She was
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
top of mind. She was on top of mind. I mean, I think many people can speak to sometimes when you have someone top of mind, they're a top of mind, exactly that. And she was a top of mind. She was on top of mind. I don't think it's all that unusual to have someone top of mind be on top of mind, top of mind. And she was on top of mind, top of mind. Again, she was on the top of mind. I feel like many of us have gone through that particular time where someone is on top of mind and
Dude, if this is not a DEI hire, bro, I don't know what the fuck.
you call them out.
The confusing part is why, if she and the family is top of mind, does the president think that she's living and in the room?
I don't find that confusing.
Oh my god, that's insanity, dude. Oh lord. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? What is even going on, man? He was like, where's Jackie? I don't see Jackie. Is Jackie here? Is Jackie in the room? Yeah, she was just on his mind because, he was sad she died, obviously. And he was thinking about how dead she was when he was asking where she was. It happens. It happens to the best of us. It's not confusing at all. And the media did not notice anything suspicious. CNN was like, nope, he is top of mind.
And since they weren't going to get an actual answer,
either bro was haunted or he already had one foot in the afterlife.
Out of Queen Jean-Pierre, the press moved on. And I mentioned the Where's Jackie incident because it happened less than 2 weeks before Tapper would interview Biden.
What a fraud, dude.
But instead of asking,
bro, they're still bringing up the prices of eggs to Trump. Like, dude, that's insane.
Oh, I don't know. What the hell happened? Why did you think a dead congresswoman would be at the event? Tapper asked this instead.
What's your message to Democrats who like you, who like what you've done, but are concerned about your age and the demands of the job?
Well, they're concerned about whether or not I get anything done. Look what I've gotten done.
Well, what does that mean, look what I've gotten done? Every war on the planet started when you were president. Congratulations.
Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
She must not be here. Yeah, she was top of mind, I guess.
The next clip shows Jake Tapper again mentioning the results of a poll back in May 2023.
That's not a good number for President Biden. 2/3 of the American people say he's not sharp enough to be president.
So again, all Jake Tapper's doing is stating the results of a poll and then letting his Democrat panelists defend Biden without any pushback.
Oh my
2/3 of the
God.
American people say he's not sharp enough to be president.
And yet, he's doing the job.
Wow, you proved the point. Congratulations. He's not sharp enough to be president, but someone is doing the job. Weird.
He's getting record victories. We got gun legislation. We just had a great jobs report on Friday. I mean,
record victories? He fucked the economy and he fucked the planet, bro. What are you talking about?
I mean, look, this is why we have a campaign, right? This will be tested.
This is why it was tested. They lost. You look at the map, it's all red. Red for Republican. If you look at the map of the United States, all 7 swing states voted for Donald.
All seven swing states.
Majority vote. Look at that. Biden ruined the country.
Next clip shows Jake Tapper again referring to poll results.
Okay, so you're part of the 23% of adults who are not concerned about the president's ability to be president because of his age and stamina.
Notice that he didn't say anything like,
pause.
look, we've all seen Joe Biden.
It's too bad she's such a dimwit because I really think she's an attractive woman. You know that?
Well, unfortunately, she doesn't swing for your side of the fence, buddy.
I know. I know. She's totally gay. I get it. But I mean, I've always thought she was such a beautiful woman. I really did. She carries herself well, despite the fact that she's a liar and a hypocrite. But I don't know. I always found her very attractive, very appealing, very feminine, and she licks rug. She's a carpet muncher.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I decided not to. It's like,
not that matters. I don't care one way or another. I'm just saying, she.
What you do in your bedroom is fine with me.
That's fine with me, man. munch on carpet, go right ahead. I'm just saying, she's such a pretty woman, and yet I find her incredibly ugly because she's so stupid. Anyway, just wanted to say that. We got just a few more minutes left on this, and then I'm just gonna pull it, and we can continue on our own.
Biden on stage, and he's a mess. Instead, he asks, is the White House worried about how the public thinks of Joe Biden?
Look at him get true. He couches every single question. He fluffs it up in a way that he's like, listen, we all know that Biden is perfectly sound of mind, but the public is retarded. What are we going to tell them?
You know, as if their perception is wrong or something.
So here's the question. Is the White House worried that questions about President Biden's stamina could ultimately impact whether or not voters will be able to support him for a second term?
He's joking around with self-proclaimed historic figure Karine Jean-Pierre when he should have been asking about Joe Biden's appearance from just a week prior.
Remember, these are the math is racist people. Like, you can never trust them.
And I'm referring to when Joe Biden went to Hawaii to meet with survivors of the Maui wildfires.
Oh, God.
He looked so out of it that if you didn't know better, you'd think he was a Maui resident who just lost his home.
Just lost his life. Bro looks like a corpse. Dude looks like he's struggling through cancer. Too soon?
There have been countless bizarre Joe Biden instances over the last several years, but Jake Tapper only bothered to investigate when he knew it was going to make him $1 million.
That's our guy. That's our dude. What a fucking fraud. What an unbelievable fraud. The original sin. How the government lied to you. What a piece of shit. What an unbelievable loser. I mean, this is why you can't trust the media. Come on, dude. This was the most obvious thing in the world, and the fact that they just rolled with it, and now they're trying to make believe they were tricked by the evil White House is ridiculous.
Look, I've been showcasing Biden's mental decline in this channel for over 5 years.
Okay. Get rid of these sons of bitches. Tired of them. Bro, I love that guy. I really do. And it's funny because here we are doing a podcast, watching a guy who was doing a podcast, who was watching a guy who was doing a podcast. Oh, he said, I'll never do that, but here we are. I had to show you that. I thought it hit every point necessary to explain what the previous administration did to this country and the people and the voters and those of us who rely on the government to protect us and just make our everyday lives normal.
Yeah, that guy's t-shirt said it perfectly. The clown in the world.
And the world, clown world. Yep.
I like that.
Mod on, man. It's just really unbelievable. Every time I look at the facts, and there's a lot of it going on right now because so much is being exposed left and right. And I don't mean left and right like Democrat and Republican. I mean, it's just everywhere you look, they're exposing the underhanded sneakiness of that former administration and how they lied. And the funny thing is there's still people who adamantly support the Biden administration.
Yeah, it's funny how, I get it. Okay, you work for a union, okay? You've been a Democrat all your life. Okay, I get that. But, when the economy sucks and you see people losing work left and right and food is outrageous and gas is, gas is outrageous in California. It sounds like it's pretty decent and, around everywhere else. But
everywhere else except your state and my state.
You got to look at things and say, man, like 12 of the last 16 years, Democrats have been running the United States.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And it was pretty good when Trump was in office. Maybe the Democrat Party isn't so good. And then when they just ignore what's going on and push down agenda after agenda after agenda, I mean, you could watch the news for 20 minutes a day and still put two and two together and say, you know what? This isn't the Democrat Party I used to know, that was for the working man, etc. You know what I mean? And so
absolutely. Yeah, it's 100% correct.
I mean, if you just have an oodle of sense, now I get it if you work for government and you're in a government union, you got your paycheck every month during COVID, where I had to quit my job to take care of my kid for 2 years. I got no income. None.
Oh my God.
You know,
how did you manage that?
luckily we had money in the bank, but it wiped us
Oh
out, man.
man,
It wiped
holy
us out.
crap!
You know,
Really?
so and because of all the stuff with COVID since then, I mean, we've never been able to really recover. You know,
Oh my
we're
God.
we're getting by, but it's tough, man. You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
I'm so pissed off at the Democrat Party and you know what they've done to our state and what they've done to this country. I mean, I'll never vote Democrat. I won't until they get rid of these activists, man. They got to get rid of these activists.
That's right.
Gone too far. There's too many people on the dole. It's obvious what's going on.
Yep.
It's got to stop, man.
Do you know that Muslim lady, the Somali lady who's in Congress?
Yeah, I don't
You
know her
know.
name, but she's like married to her brother or
Yeah, that's how she got in the country. She married her brother.
yeah.
She said, Ilhan Omar?
I don't know, man.
I think that's her name. In any event, it's the younger one out of the other two Muslims. She said, and I quote, that we should, instead of being worried about the gang members who crossed the border into this country and are both raping, murdering, robbing, child trafficking, sex trafficking, smuggling fentanyl into the country along with other drugs. They are not a concern. What is a concern are white men. She said we should be more scared of white men than anything else because that's a serious concern. And all right, so having said that, there's another guy who's on the left, he's not a woke guy, but he's a guy nonetheless. He's bald, he's old, he looks like a lizard. I can't remember his name.
Lizard face. Yeah.
Lizard face.
Yeah, Rush Limbaugh used to call him Lizard Face. Oh my God,
So another guy, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He made a comment. Even he realizes that people like AOC and Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, that these people are screwing up the Democrat Party, and people are sick and tired of this woke agenda and these comments of saying like, yeah, we need to be afraid of white men. So, yeah, that's a good way to get votes. That's a really good way to get votes. And even he said that. He said that. That's what I'm repeating. And it cracks me up. Any white guy or any Caucasian person that agrees with that statement. Well, what is your problem? I could never understand for the life of me, Mr. B. I could never understand anybody who doesn't.
Give me a sec. I'm looking up this guy. I got
to go right ahead.
It's bugging me. Okay.
Okay, and you go right ahead. And while you're doing that, what I'm saying is this: anybody who agrees with that comment has an issue. They've got a serious issue. Because if you are so incapable of hating yourself and your own race, then you might as well just,
James Carville, damn it.
There
James
you go,
Carville.
James, also known as Lizard Man.
Lizard face, yeah.
Lizard face. So, again, if you are going to hate yourself, and believe me, there's a lot of Caucasians on the left who feel that way. They're like, oh, white people suck and this, that. And I'm like, really? Really? If it weren't for white people, you wouldn't have half the things, if not 75% of everything you own.
Well, I'm just thinking of all the third world countries in the world that are just ran by these militias and stuff. I don't see a whole lot of white people in those militias killing people left and right. And I've said this before. Okay, every race has racism. Every single race. It's not just white men. Okay, there are plenty of black races, Mexican races, etc. Okay, and if anything, the problem in this country, it's activists. It's activists creating problems.
And I can attest to what you just said. Every ethnical race in the entire world has racism. And why do I say that? Because I've been lucky enough to travel the world. I've been in most of Europe. I've been in South America. I've been in America. Well, not that America counts, but Europe and South America. And everywhere I went, I always met somebody who was talking about another country, either near to them or another race that they didn't like. I can't tell you how many times I encountered that. The point of the matter is, when they say, well, only white people can be racist, that's fucking bullshit. And I am a living example of that from when I got jumped by 3 black guys in Paterson, New Jersey, back in 2012, in May of 2012. So it's been however many years this month. They called me every name in the book as they attacked me. Okay? Knocked my front teeth out. So don't ever let anybody tell you that white people are the only, I'm sorry, that black people can't be racist, because that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. I am first-hand I have first-hand experience with that, and not only from that time, but all the times when I lived in Paterson, and I had my house broken into like countless times. I had my car broken into in 3 years. I had my car broken into 7 times.
Whoa.
So, and then when I was in grammar school, like I was constantly getting beat up by black kids. I was a little kid. I wasn't big. I wasn't muscular. I was a skinny little boy. It's just everybody on the left who's woke is an idiot. I'm sorry, but they're idiots. And when they say things like that, black people can't be racist. Fuck you, they can't be racist.
Yeah, right.
That's such bullshit.
Right. Yep. I hope people get fed up with this mantra that they're being fed. I hope they wake up. What I suggest is people stop watching freaking TV. Okay? Stop watching TV. Turn off MSNBC, turn off CNN, turn off Fox News, and just take a month off of social media. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then while you're doing that, read a book. Maybe surf the web and do some research for yourself about what's going on, and look at both sides. Okay? Really analyze things and think for yourself. Think for yourself. Don't listen to what someone else says. Okay? And then you tell me all the stuff that's going on with Biden now. Okay? Then maybe you'll actually see what's going on, see the truth. Okay? And maybe see that Trump hasn't done anything that's even close to being a Nazi since he's been in office either.
Oh, of course not.
Okay, maybe you'll see that this climate change stuff is the biggest hoax. It's bigger than the Biden hoax to me, because it's crippled this country. Mm-hmm. It literally has. Okay. Mm-hmm. And just look at things yourself instead of listening to other people. I don't know why people can't just think for themselves. And maybe that's why they don't. They look at white men, because most white men go, "Now that's bullshit." They can read through it. Most white guys I know say that's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I don't know, man. It's just frustrating.
Of course.
I can't believe people watch this bullshit. Like Jake Tapper.
Well, right. And what I was just going to respond to your comment with is, like Nux said earlier in his video, mainstream media, you can't hate them enough. Yeah. They are so full of shit.
Yeah.
They really are. And I know you also mentioned the whole thing about Fox News and all, but the thing with Fox News is that when all the other stations were calling Fox News a conspiracy theory channel, they ended up being right about 90%, if not 95% of everything they were speaking about.
Right.
Whereas all the other networks were caught in lies. And if they weren't caught in lies, they were saying things to make you think a certain way that the right was this evil, just this evil group of people that wanted to destroy, like take old ladies and throw them off cliffs.
What I mean by that, okay, and I agree with what you're saying, but what my problem with it, most of Fox News, okay, very little of it is the news. It's normally just people's opinions.
It's opinions, right?
And that's not the news. I wish we could get back to the news and not opinion pieces, and that's my issue with it. Am I saying that they're lying all the time? No, I'm not saying that. I say they've screwed some things up here and there for sure. But yeah, it's just that's the fact I was trying to say. It's an opinion based show most of the time, and it's not the news.
Do you remember when they eliminated regular TV? Like, I'm sure you had cable, right? You had cable TV?
Most of my life, yeah.
Okay, but there were the main stations. You had Channel 2, maybe not by you, but by us, we had Channel 2, so you had CBS, NBC, Fox, ABC,
and PBS.
And then there was another one out here. I can't remember what it was, but you had like the main stations: CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox. Those were the four main ones. Okay. And you had nightly news that would come on, and it really started to go downhill, in my humble opinion, in my personal opinion. I think the news started to go downhill when they were more worried about getting their journalist award at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much about them. I shouldn't say that. They were doing the news, but they were doing it, as mentioned before, as actors, so that at the end of the year they could get this award. I was the greatest journalist of the entire year, and that's when I think it lost it, because journalism went from being a noble profession of keeping the politicians in line, whether they were left or right, to being this thing where you just wanted to be the best journalist you could possibly be, so you could get a journalist award, which is, what's the point? What's the point? Anywho,
that's a good point, man. It's just it's a shame. Like, I wish things like PBS could not be politically, motivated just to the left. I wish things like at least PBS or something like that could show both sides,
I agree.
And
I
NPR,
agree.
and then if you want to watch opinion pieces like Fox News and CNN, that's fine. But give us just the news,
right?
And
I used to love listening to NPR, mainly for classical music. I used to turn on the classical station, but every time they have a break now, like I'll put classical music on if I'm going to be gone for a while, and I leave it on the radio for my birds in the living room. And I notice that sometimes if I'm listening to classical music while I'm cooking or something like that, when the news portions come on, it's all about, how bad the right is. And as you just said, it's motivated by leftist tendencies.
Especially if the taxpayer's paying for it.
Yeah.
Leave
it out. Anywho.
Don't be biased.
Exactly. And on that note, folks, before I have an aneurysm, let's get off. Let's get off of this topic. How about we show some artwork for a little bit of some positivity for the show, for the end of the show? What do you think, Mr. B?
No, I'm all about the negativity, man. I'm angry. Do you want signs and stickers that will melt your fucking face? Do you want t-shirts and apparel that make the panties drop? Then you need to contact Lux Tees Custom Apparel and Signs. They make cutting-edge t-shirts, apparel, signs, stickers that kick ass. They are hideous, diversion approved, and they are an official sponsor. Contact Tyler at Lux Artist myfitsmerch@gmail.com, bitches, because your merch should be legendary. Dude, angry.
All right, I'll tell you what. Why don't you open up? I sent you a whole bunch of images. Did I not?
You did.
Let's start with which one would you like to see?
So it's best if we start from the top. And right now on the top, it looks it's a. Well, I'll just show it to you.
Angry Red Mob, isn't it?
No.
Ah.
Oh, hold on.
Hey ho, hey ho, hey, hey ho, hey.
Maybe I need to go the other way.
Look at all that artwork. That's creepy stuff. Who did all that stuff?
Because we did the Big Red Mob a couple episodes ago.
Yes.
Let me
So-
see. Let me see what's at the top, dude. I don't
Okay.
know.
Go to the top.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. Angry Red Mob is right at the
Yeah,
top.
there it is. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So we did this one last time.
Yes, we did.
You can pass it along if you like.
Hey, it's
So-
Jerry Oli.
So here's it. All right. So years ago when I was making silk screens, I drew this image, and this was actually supposed to be Erie Vaughn, who I knew back in the day. He was the bass player for Sam Hain, and I drew a picture. This was my cartoonish drawing of him, and I ended up printing, making a silk screen that I had, I would print for people. But then, now that I have my own, I wouldn't say it's my own, but my shirts are now being printed by a company, and I redid the image to look like this. I cleared it up a bit. I put the skeleton crossbones on the guitar strap. I cleaned up the skeleton and the bones on the headstock of the bass. Made his hair purple. What do you think?
Dude, those eyes, they immediately grab me, and no matter where I put my head, I feel like he's staring at me.
It's like the Mona Lisa.
It is pretty damn cool, dude.
Thank you. If you scroll up a little bit so they can see
Yeah.
the bottom part. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the t-shirt designs I have available on MykeHideous.com. A little bit more cartoonish compared to some of my other work, but just some fun stuff.
Pretty
I
rad.
did that in oh my God, when did I do that? 1987?
Oh, wow.
Around that time, maybe 88. I don't remember, but yeah,
That was a lifetime ago.
A very, very long, decades ago. All
Back
right,
in the good old days.
Yeah. So I named this one. It's called Death Rocker, but we can move on to another image. Okay, this is Demon on the Mountain. Now, before you scroll any further,
okay,
let me tell you a little bit about this. This image, first and foremost, this image was inspired by Walt Disney's Fantasia. Did you ever see Fantasia?
Yeah, as soon as you said that, yes.
Okay. So when I was a kid, I saw Walt Disney's Fantasia, and there's that one cartoon where the demon opens his wings on the mountain, and it's this big demon and blah blah blah. Well, I got the idea from that, but I kind of manipulated it a little bit so that it was more mine. Now, if you scroll down to look what he's standing on, okay, you see all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that took me weeks and weeks. Yeah. Mind you, first I did the whole thing in pencil, and then I redid it with black Indian ink. And it's very important that I show you this particular drawing, which was done in 1987. It was the beginning of a new style of art that I started doing. This morphing of images
Yeah.
into different stuff. Yeah, and it
Like
took.
here especially, you can see it's like it's three different things that or it's one thing. It's pretty cool, dude.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
But this was the first image I drew that I started using the same thing. Like how do I say this? The similarity of this drawing in other drawings. So that was the first time I ever did anything like this. And as I said, it took me a very long time to complete that.
Really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we can go to the next one.
Oh, so
Also,
I recognize this Frankenstein, and this past weekend I watched The Ghost of Frankenstein.
Fun movie.
Yes, it was. I enjoyed it tremendously.
Now that image you're looking at again is another thing I drew years and years and years ago. I was still a teenager when I drew this picture, and I just love Frankenstein. You know, I love it. So what you're looking at right here is actually one of my prints. Again, I used to do this. In fact, I was wearing a T-shirt. I was wearing this T-shirt when we interviewed Dan Canzaneri from Electric Frankenstein. I was wearing this T-shirt. Only the thing is, I was wearing the one that I printed myself. Now, when I sell it through my website, it's done in color. And what you're looking at is actually the Frankenstein towel. No, wait, I'm sorry. The Frankenstein blanket. That's the throw blanket. I have one myself. I think I did that in 1980, 86, 85.
Oh.
Ah, yes, the East Coast Gravediggers, Local Union 666. All right, so this image, I drew this image to be, I did it as a sketch that was going to be did you ever see those coffin-shaped guitar cases?
Yes.
Okay. The name of the company is Coffin Case.
Okay.
So I wrote to them and asked, mind you, this was after my whole stint with the Misfits. I asked them if they would be interested in selling a case, a coffin case, excuse me, a coffin case with this image on it. I made it specifically for coffin case. They ended up turning me down. But I did paint, I ended up painting this on one coffin case, which I sold to somebody who bought it off of me. And I don't mean to brag, but I make quite a lot of money on it. Now I just have it printed as a t-shirt.
Really cool, man.
Thank you. Again, that's on mykehideous.com. Okay, you can go to the next one. This is just a sketch. Just having a little fun. Nothing fancy. Kind of like a combination of like Star Trek meets, I don't know, little green aliens.
Maybe it's Kirk was always after the green chicks. You know, maybe this is a spawn of that. You know, kind of looks like Spock.
It does, yeah. With a helmet on and antenna.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Thank you. That's just a sketch.
I know who that is.
Yeah, I was wearing that T-shirt today, as a matter of fact.
Mr.
Now,
the Ghosty.
Now, obviously, this isn't a drawing that I did originally. Basically, what I did, I made this image specifically to make a silk screen. Oh my God, many, many decades ago, so that I could print it on a T-shirt. What I did is I took images of Bela Lugosi, Vampira, Boris Karloff and Lon Chaney, and I put them together. And I painted that whole image on an acetate, a piece of acetate, which, for those of you who don't know, it's basically just clear paper, like a film. Because when you're making a silk screen, you have to paint your image on a piece of acetate so that when you expose it to light, you either get a positive or a negative on the screen. So all I did is basically copy the images from a book of horror movies that I have. But if you'll scroll back up to the top where Bella is, you see all those bats?
Mm-hmm.
You know how long it took me to get that done?
That's pretty solid, dude.
Thanks, man. I just gotten the idea. I'm like, what if I do Bella just like morphing into bats? And that's how I did that. Oh my God, it was so painstaking. Hours and hours and hours.
What I like is the Lon Chaney Frankenstein. You got his eyes perfectly, dude.
Thank you.
Because there's a big difference between the Boris Karloff and the Lon Chaney, in my opinion.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
the eyes have a lot to do with it. So, and you definitely captured that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a huge Frankenstein fan. And Lon Chaney on the right there, that's from the scene in the movie called London After Midnight, which has been lost to time, sadly. What a great film that must have been. I would do anything to see the original film, but sadly it was lost to time because all those old films deteriorated. Very few of them were saved. And then on the left, you have Vampira, who was the great, sexy horror host of I believe, the 1960s. What a sexy woman. Anyway, that's also available as a T-shirt and a throw blanket. You can get that on mykidius.com.
Like we got the same one again.
Oh, oops. Okay, all right. Here's one of my favorites. This is actually hanging on my wall. This is called a pour painting. P-O-U-R, pour painting. And basically what you do is there's actually a method to this. You have to mix the paint with certain, like with water and this other stuff called flood, which dilutes it. But you have to know the difference between certain paints and the elements that are in them. Certain paints are heavier than others.
Mm-hmm.
So when you mix them, you pour them onto a surface. In this case, what I used, I had shelves that I had a bookshelf, and I disassembled the bookshelf, but I kept the shelves. They were wooden, and I did these paintings on those pieces of wood. And it's basically poured paint, and it just forms the way it does. And in my opinion, this looks like a scene off of the planet Jupiter. He says. This is available as a print on mykidius.com. I can't remember if I'm selling the original. I have all four. I did four of these, and all four of them are in frames hanging on my walls.
I like it. It in a way. Okay, when I was looking at it, I was thinking like the inside of an oyster, because it kind of has that. I'm just saying, but yeah.
Hey, that works too, man. Yeah, like
it's got the blue, like that. You know how it's got that. I don't know.
Almost like
the blue and the purple and.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be called. Not turquoise, but like a pearl.
And like that could be a pearl. Yeah, like that pearl. Yeah.
Yeah, like pearly colors.
I don't know, man.
I just think the colors really came out
I think
interesting.
the colors are awesome, and it has a lot of detail to it. It's very different.
Thank you. Yeah, when I look at this, it immediately reminds me of Jupiter.
This is the one that really captured my eye when you sent these over.
All right. This one is entitled Progress versus Knowledge, or is it Knowledge versus Progress? And actually it's hanging on my wall right over here. And that's a acrylic on canvas. And it all started with the tree and the octopus emerging out of the tree, morphing into the octopus. I gotta say, I hate to brag, but that fucking octopus came out amazing. And I don't know what the hell's going on the left side there. I really don't know.
Yeah, I can't quite figure that out. It kind of reminds me of like one of them Jim Henson movies from the 80s, like
yeah,
The Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of got that vibe to it.
It's definitely got that vibe going on too. Yeah, I was just experimenting with this. I really had no idea where I was going. But some people say it almost looks like you're on the water. And the land in the background, the mountains in the background are something like ice or icebergs. But yeah, I've been told that it looks like water. This is when I was going through what I called my blue stage, and I was painting everything blue, mostly, with the exception of the purple octopus.
Yeah, to me, it looks like it's underwater. I mean, the octopus kind of gives it away.
It's whatever you want it to be, man. Really.
Yeah.
It's definitely different, in my opinion.
Or it's the dark crystal at night. Something like that.
I started this. Oh my God. I started this when I still lived in New Jersey. And I didn't finish it. But when I moved here, I finished it in 2019.
Oh.
Yeah, I started it and I couldn't finish it. I didn't know where I was going with it. And it just sat for a couple of years, and then I just decided, all right, I'm going to finish it, and that's what it came out. Okay, just a quick sketch in my sketchbook. There's really no.
Got the double lock again.
Yeah,
Is that Jerry Ole? Is that Jerry Ole?
I used to do that in almost every little stupid drawing I was making. He's with the hair and the face. I don't know, man. It was just something I was just messing around with. Nothing. No meaning.
I think that this creature needs a double lock too.
Yeah.
Or maybe a goatee, like a
And it's like a combination of a rhinoceros,
dinosaur.
Dinosaur rhino.
The teeth are wicked, man.
Or a hippo.
I would not want to get bit by that thing.
But what I really like about this is the guy, the way he's standing, and his anatomy. I was very happy with the way the anatomy came out of his body.
Yeah.
He's like, ta-da!
Meet my little friend.
Exactly. Yeah, that was back in 1985. I did that.
Cool.
Okay, this next one is part of my blue stage.
Oh yeah, this is like the back of a Harley Davidson T-shirt from the '80s, dude. Yeah.
Is that so?
Oh yeah. And it's got a little bit of Lord of the Rings in it. Oh wow, yeah, wow. Well, at least that skeleton at the top reminded me of a couple Harley shirts from the back in the day. Wow, that's freaking cool, dude.
Thank you. I actually the skeletons that you see in this particular painting. Again, this is acrylic on a canvas. These skeletons were taken specifically from old medieval drawings, wood carvings, and graphite drawings. And I I have a lot of books on old art, and I was taking from those images, I was utilizing my own renditions of what I painted in these pictures. And if you go a little further down, you see how they're holding the banner?
Yes.
That was something that was very common in paintings back in the Dark Ages. Paintings, drawings, wood carvings, very, very common. And they would put little, notes or titles or whatever in them. And in this particular instance, you can see what I wrote there. This is actually in Latin, but don't ask me what it says because I can't remember.
Satan. No, I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. Again, it was taken. The idea was taken from images that I used to have. I still have in my old books from the medieval and Dark Ages. Lots of little hidden things.
Yeah,
in there.
there are. There are. Kind of going back through it.
You see that guy on the left holding the knife up in the air?
Yeah. Thought I saw somebody there, but.
And the trees, the way the trees came out, I was very happy with this. This is also hanging on my wall in a frame that cost about $500.
Oh, wow.
And if you will, if you look at the main subject, all right, you got the guy with the hat on and the
Gandalf.
Yeah, right. He is actually a magician from the old Dark Ages, and who's whispering in his ear? None other than Lucifer himself. And that very image of Lucifer is something I took from a religious book I have on religious paintings, where there's an image of Jesus standing on a cliff, and Satan is in the image of a man, and he's got these little bat wings behind him. That's where I got that. And he was saying something to Jesus, saying, we could rule the world together. And that's where I got that image of Lucifer.
Huh. This guy I did not notice until right now. Kind of sneaks up on you.
I don't even know what's going on with that guy. But he's having a good time.
He's a demon. It's got to be. You got Satan over here. It's got to be a demon.
And then you got the king with the crown. That's the only bit of other color in the entire painting. Yeah, I'm very, very proud of that piece.
Yeah, it's really good, dude.
Thank you. Took months to finish that.
Oh, I can't imagine. Is that a skull right there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I had painted all those roots and parts of the trees like that, and I just happened to see it. It was there, but I didn't intend it to be there, and so I just emphasized it to make it look like a skull.
Really cool. He's got like a little horn, like maybe his horn got chopped off or something.
I think
it's
a
nub.
I think it's a tumor. Or a zit. All right, what do we got here? The melting skull.
I've seen this one on your website.
Here's the beauty of this particular image. I drew that image, that very image. This is actually a rendition of the original. But I drew that image in high school, senior year in high school. And ever since then, it was one of the first silk screens I ever made. And I had painted several jackets using that very image. And it was something that I made on multiple occasions. I should say reduplicated on multiple occasions. It's called the melting skull.
The eyes. You're really good at those eyes, man. They just stare at you. They stand out. But I do have a question. Is this some type of white supremacist lightning bolt here?
Yes, he's a Nazi skull.
Of course, I know that's not what that is, but
Yeah.
Just for humor's sake, that's pretty cool, dude.
Thank you.
I've seen that one a few times. Uh-oh.
Okay.
We've got
going back to
happy
my
looking character here. This is
once again going back to my teenage years. I was 19, maybe 20 when I finished this. All done in Indian ink. Oh, I can't tell you how long it took to make the teeth.
dude, I wonder how long it takes him to floss his teeth. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
Ugh.
But yeah, that's crazy. I actually have that painting, that drawing on my wall as well. That's in a frame. That was called, I think, no orange, just big ears. I think this was called Nightmare in the Closet or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
I can't remember what I titled it, but it was pretty dark. Yeah, all done in Indian ink, man. You have no idea that little thin pen that I had to go. Took forever. All right.
Yeah, this one caught my eye when you sent these two.
Another poor painting.
Yeah.
I really like the way this one came out.
Yeah, it's crazy because you can almost see faces at some points. I mean, like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like something's looking at you. It's like it's
yeah, I see it.
A different dimension, you know?
So basically, all right, so
There's
you see
eyes
how
there.
you see how it looks like it's webbing, like there's like webs in it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's basically what you call it. When you're doing a pour painting, the whole idea is to get those images. It's like they call it webbing. And it's basically the chemicals and the water mixing with the paints and breaking them up. The heavier elements come up. The heavier elements go down, the lighter elements come up, and it breaks it apart. And that is a perfect, I don't mean to brag, that is a perfect example of how a pour painting should be done. It's like, this is what I had been working. You know how many times I had to do one of these paintings in order for me to get the right one? I must have did like 10 or 20 of them. I don't even remember. But I couldn't get it to web properly. And then I finally was able to put this out, and I was very, very pleased with it.
The colors are beautiful, but then when you really look at it, it's kind of haunting, dude. You know?
Thank you.
Eyes looking at you. I mean, man, it's really good. I like it.
Thank you.
A lot.
Thank you.
This one was my favorite out of all the ones you sent.
Thank you. Yeah, I happen to like it myself. It almost looks like an old painting that's starting to crack.
Yeah. Really cool, dude.
It could even be almost like an outer space image.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Like going through a black hole kind of scenario. Interesting. Really good stuff.
Thank you. I think we got like 2 more, maybe. Oh, this is funny. I sent you this because I get a kick out of it every time I look at it. Okay, so this is another t-shirt that I designed a while back, and I took an old oh my God, when is this from? Probably the 1300s, 1400s. This is a wood carving, all right? And I kind of put the title in there, "Wouldst thou like fries with that, my lord?" And if you scroll down, keep scrolling. There you go. Get it?
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
All right, good. Just making sure. So, yeah, that's a woodcut, and I couldn't tell you what the original meaning of it was. It's probably from the Crusades, or the Inquisition, maybe. But I just had to have fun with it, and I put the title, the logo. Would it be the logo? The slogan. That's what I'm looking at. Slogan. Wouldst thou like fries with that, my lord?
Good stuff, bud.
Thank you. Medieval fast food. Okay.
Ay, ay, ay.
What
Oh,
did you-
wow.
Another Frankenstein.
Now we're getting a little, who's the guy that did Beetlejuice?
Tom Hanks? No. Tom Hanks.
Brooke, who directed Beetlejuice?
Oh, Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. That's a little bit. It reminds me of that guy in the waiting room with the shrunken head. A little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this but the button. I originally drew this as a sketch in my sketchbook in pencil, and then I put it into the computer and I color it. Well, anyway, yeah. So this is just a version of Frankenstein that I put into the computer, and I brought a little bit more color to it, some more shadows and stuff.
I like the coloring a lot.
Thank you. I was thinking about offering it to Dan for their next Electric Frankenstein album cover.
Yeah. That was a good interview.
Oh my God, that was great.
Yeah.
I really liked it. We covered so much. We went on for 3 hours.
I've listened to it 5 times, not because I necessarily wanted to, but because, editing and stuff like that. And then I watched it last night. So
I watched it too. Yeah, it was a good interview.
Good stuff, man. Oh. It's like Dracula with the machete.
I call this the dramatic vampire. Or vampire dramatics, that's what it is. Or vampire drama. That's again, that's just a sketch that I did.
That's crazy. Like it's fuzzy here, and then in the background, it's like really detailed.
That's actually computer
Is
animated.
this charcoal? Oh, okay.
No, that I did that in the computer. Once I scanned it in, I just took the blurring tool and I made those flames sort of.
Oh.
But yeah, I like the way that came out. It's just him, covering himself with his cape. There's no machete, by the way.
Wait, is it someone's scalp?
What are you talking about?
This right here.
No, that's just him holding his cape. His
I
cape
don't know. It looks like a scalp to me, dude. I'm just
okay, but it is his cape going around him. He's holding his cape from the other side.
Okay. All right.
All right. All right. We can pass that now. I think we're at the last one. Yes. It's my Warhol interpretation. So initially, it's just the guy who I drew once and then duplicated him and did him 4 different ways, like the famous Andy Warhol images that he used to do. And if you look at the tattoo on the neck, on the left it says 13.
Mm-hmm.
On the right, it says 31.
Like a mirror, right?
Close. But if it was a mirror, the 3 would be backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I did it in a way that it was a mirror, but not quite a mirror. Just having a little fun and messing with Andy Warhol.
Is this a fly?
That is a fly. Checking him out.
Did you not take a bath?
Possibly. You know how dirty punk rockers are.
Yeah.
And he's got real little ears, too.
And not me. I got big ears.
Yeah.
Wish I had small ears, but
I have small ears. I can barely hear.
Brooke has small ears.
Does she?
Yeah. They're cute. They're real cute.
you have to yell at her so she can hear you?
No, she has really good hearing, dude. Trust me. She probably hears me right now. She's talking about me.
Anyway, so yeah, there you go. A little fun to end off my my rant of insanity tonight. And there you go. So
We didn't rant that bad.
not too much, but I think the video that we played really kind of put my message across, because I wanted to say all that, but they did it a lot better than I probably could have. So I want to make sure we give credit to Nuxanor.
Yeah.
And
we just call him Nux.
Nux.
Because it showed his Twitter feed and it's at Nux. So I think it's all right to just call him Nux.
Nux. Either way, I watch this guy a lot. he cracks me up, man. He really does, and he's very informative. And one thing I appreciate about him is that, that cartoon that he displays himself as. He does that, and it's brilliant. I wish I could do the same. He does that so people don't see who he is online.
Yeah.
And I can really appreciate that, because you got some crazy people out there. He gets death threats all the time. He really does. I'm not kidding when I say that. He gets death threats, and people say some really obnoxious shit to him.
Yeah.
Because he's a Jew, and because people are assholes.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, so yeah, did you want to say anything else? Because I'm going to wrap it up, Mr. B.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching episode number 14 of A Hideous Diversion. I am your host, Myke Hideous. My co-host and producer, Mr. B. Say goodnight, Mr. B.
Peace out.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get an opportunity to check out MykeHideous.com, you can see all the things that I sell. Everything from my old music of Empire Hideous and Spy Society 99, as well as t-shirts, throw blankets, throw pillows, what else? This, that, and the other thing. Go check it out. You might really find something cool. Also, if you want to catch me on Instagram, you can catch me on Instagram, hashtag Myke Hideous Official. You can also get Hideous Diversion on Instagram, which is hashtag Hideous Diversion. You can also email us at, what is the email again, Mr. B?
HideousMyke@gmail.com.
There you go. You can also get me on Facebook.com/HideousMyke. And I think that's about everything that I have to say. Please subscribe. Please like. And please share this video if you like it. We greatly appreciate your support and your viewership. Next week, I don't know what date that will be, but by the time this airs, what will be next week? So by the time you see this, the following episode, episode 15, that'll be coming out, we're going to have an interview with a man by the name of Father Sebastian. Father Sebastian used to be a fang maker, and he had a company called Sabretooth, and he used to make fangs for all the vampires that used to come see me play when I played with Empire Hideous. We're going to have him on. This guy has become a world-renowned event planner and a very high-profile man in the vampire scene. And if you don't believe that, then I highly suggest you tune in for the interview, because you're going to be amazed at the things that this guy has done. I refer to him as the Anton LaVey of the vampire scene. He has created an amazing, what would I call, a franchise of events all over the globe. I shouldn't say all over the globe, but a lot in Europe and in America. So tune in for that. That'll be episode 15. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you very much. Oh, you can also catch me every once in a while on the Michael Deacon program, which is on YouTube. And you just look up the Michael Deacon program. And I co-host with Michael Deacon on occasions here and there. And that show is it's a little
X-rated.
X-rated compared to this one, mostly, which is kind of like an R rating, maybe. In any event, thank you all very much for tuning in, watching, listening, and whatever the hell else you might be doing. We thank you very much. We appreciate your listenership and your viewership. Thank you, folks. We will see you on the next episode. Thank you. Good night.
Feeling alright, yeah. We're feeling good, we're feeling alright, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's about that time for us to look around and meet somebody new. Well, let's all welcome in familiar faces, perhaps somebody who has a conflict in their life. Alright, tell them you're sorry, but there's ways to change the wrong to right. See, we can sit in a distant haze and watch rain clouds for thoughts of greatness to help our troubles sail real far away. Oh yeah. Well, it's a struggle every day, we're stressing, but what's a life without dedication? I'm gonna pick up that soul's intention to soak in music, relaxation. We're feeling good, we're feeling alright, yeah. Feeling good, we're feeling alright, yeah. Feeling good, we're feeling alright, yeah. Feeling good, we're feeling alright, yeah, yeah, yeah. In a moment I'll be on my way to better days while life is changing. And even though I've had my share of pain, I've been sympathizing and realizing I've got a feeling we could be a better friend, simply complimenting every now and then. before, 'cause I love the music.